PI SNMP Interface. First of all, before to go to the PI SNMP Interface, you have to know what SNMP is. SNMP stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. This is a standard protocol for multiple devices from various vendors to provide performance information about themselves. SNMP-enabled devices contain an SNMP agent, and we will query the agent to get performance information. Many hardware and software products do have SNMP agents. The most popular ones are probably network switches, routers, printers, firewall, and so on. Even operating systems such as Windows or RDBMSs such as Oracle, Informix, and more do have SNMP agents on them. Just like for performance counters in Windows, SNMP variables can be accessed using a path. In this case, we call this path OID, Object Identifier. The Object Identifier is a text string represented in either decimal or textual notation. It starts with a period and then drill down into branches and sub-branches and sub-sub-branches. An example of an OID can be found in the notes at the bottom of this page. You could represent a counter in an SNMP agent via its numerical notation, such as this one, 1, 3, 6, and so on, or via its textual representation. These two are equivalent. In order to make communication with SNMP agents easier, we normally use what we call MIBs. MIBs stand for Management Information Base. This is a plain text file describing the OIDs, the counters that are exposed by the SNMP agents. They are simply built for aliasing purposes. They are not necessary for data collection, as you only need the OID, the numerical notation, but they are pretty useful for you to be able to see the OIDs in their textual notation. These MIB files can simply be downloaded from various websites, which we'll talk about in a few pages. There are three different types of OIDs, three types of counters that can be provided by SNMP agent. The read-only counters, the read-write counters, and traps. Traps are unsolicited messages sent by the agent. These will be covered in the next chapter. This interface, the PI SNMP interface, can read counters and will be able to write to the devices as well. For these counters, you must use a community string. What we call a community string in the SNMP language is simply a password. So that means you may have to ask your IT managers for a password to query your SNMP devices. Because devices normally provide hundreds and thousands of counters, you sometimes need help to determine appropriate parameters to monitor on your devices. You can find some more information on the company's websites as well as SNMP reference sites, such as MIB Depot, which lists all the MIB files that can be downloaded from almost all kinds of devices. And here is our PI SNMP interface, which simply gathers information from various SNMP agents on your network, and then archive this information into PI. Obviously, you have to make sure an SNMP agent is installed and configured on your data sources, because by default, not all devices have their SNMP agent available. Also, to collect SNMP data from any Windows machine, you will have to install the Windows SNMP service. The procedure to do that can be found in the notes at the bottom of this page. See, to install the SNMP service, you can simply go and add remove programs from your control panel. On this window, you then choose add remove Windows components. From that one, in the list, you can choose management and monitoring tools. And then if you click details, you will have the choice to install Simple Network Management Protocol. From there, when you click OK, Next, and Finish, the service is installed. You then simply start the service using the Services window found under Administrative Tools in your control panel. Doing so will allow you to use the PI SNMP interface to query the agent installed on Windows machines. There are several parameters that are specific to the PI SNMP interface and that will work in conjunction with the plugin to configure tags that we'll talk about in a couple of pages. For example, in the plugin, you'll be able to tell the interface to regroup tags. When you regroup tags, in ICU here you can set the maximum number of tags per set. By default, 5. To change this default, you can simply check this box and enter your own number. You could also change the maximum time allowed per query, which is 3 seconds. The timeout can be changed by checking this box and changing the number here. In addition to the timeout, you can tell the SNMP interface to retry calls that fail that number of time. The checkbox here and the number here. In the next pages, you will see about tag configuration. You will see that in a tag, you normally configure the password to communicate with the SNMP agent. To omit the password in the configuration for security purposes, you can tell the interface to use a password file. You could check the checkbox here and edit the pisnmp.pwd file. This would tell the interface you go in the password file and read the passwords rather than read them into the tag's configuration. And another important parameter here is the allow SNMP set. This is to allow the interface to perform write operations to SNMP agents.